And welcome to the Now Debate, New Year's Eve special. We are counting down, we're only a few hours away now from the end of 2017, and we thought we'd put up a video to mark the turning of at least the Gregorian tide from 2017 into 2018, and do a little bit of a summary or a little bit of a discussion about everything paranormal, extraterrestrial, crazy, conspiratorial, and psychic, and everything more besides for 2017, because it has been one hell of a year.
That's just our year.
That's just us.
Yeah.
Not anything else in the world. It's just us. So this is a summary. I have no idea what we're going to speak about. I think it's just we're going to take this little opportunity for the next half an hour, 40 minutes, however long this broadcast happens to last, just to reflect. I'm Jared Walters, and I'm here with the guy who runs the show, Mr. Richard Oliver. How are you?
I'm alright.
So what's happening then?
Well, basically it's just a summary of our year, isn't it? I mean our Now Debates and our videos and what we've been through, and it's been quite the year.
Well, this is the interesting thing now. Is the year has basically been surrounding this sort of contact, these responses that we've been having, the live streams we've been having. The cases seem to have died down. We've been thinking of different plans for 2018, and as you said, that's just our year. We've sadly lost a very dear friend to us as well.
Yes, we have.
Towards the end of this year, which is one of the reasons why the Griffin video is late out. Sorry guys, that can't be helped, but yeah, with everything that's been going on, we've had to take a little bit of a step back, and but it will be out very shortly, the next couple of days. Either it will be on the channel now, or depending when I get around to doing it, because it'll be on the channel the next couple of days, so keep an eye out for that. So, as we ebb closer to 2018 being the sort of predicted year where everything starts to happen, if any of these live streams are to be believed, then what a year we're going to be heading into. But look at the year past. What sort of things have come up in the sort of paranormal world in 2000? Let's just sort of deal with what's happened in 2017 in general, and then talk about what's actually happened to us.
Well, we've talked about, we've done a few Now Debates. We've done everything from Donald Trump to the Mandela effect.
We have.
The second coming, I think we covered.
Yeah, I think we covered that in some sort of detail.
Yeah, because it's all had sort of a relevance to the year we've just had.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy year. We've had so much going on this 2017. The supermoons, the eclipses, the alignments.
Well, the eclipse in August of 2018, 2017, really did sort of shift things into a different gear, didn't they? They kind of really did sort of change things, and I've noticed that the world is sort of so much on a knife edge at the moment that everyone is just feeling this sort of tension, this anxiety, this sort of you've got these ascension symptoms that have been going on, and and it's been another year where you kind of think to yourself, where the hell is this all leading? You've had the sort of posturing on the political sides of Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, or whatever his friggin' name is. Was it Kim Jong-un?
Kim Jong-un, is it?
Yeah, I don't know how you pronounce it. To be honest, I don't find him, he apparently has nuclear bombs, is going to kill us all with his nuclear bombs and his nuclear arsenal. Great. Look forward to that.
Yeah.
And I think, we were looking back at a lot of it just seems to be sort of posturing, really. I've never seen sort of the powers of being so much of a holding pattern. It's kind of just being completely sort of just turning over. Oh, something might happen, then nothing really does. But yeah, I think it's a very sort of, it's almost like a stalemate situation at the moment. That's how it feels anyway. It's like a stalemate situation where sort of everything that the establishment wants to do now is obviously going to end up pushing more people and sort of waking them up, or sort of creating some sort of disturbance, but it says that whether people actually take up the challenge and fight for what they, fight for what they want, what they believe in, or even take any notice of it. So, it's been a very crazy sort of year. You've had a lot of sort of UFO stuff happen in the last...
yes, there's been a lot of UFO sightings for this year.
And what about like the stuff with Tom DeLonge? Have you been keeping apprised of that? That guy from Blink-182 had set up that GoFundMe and wants to raise lots of money, and if he does, he'll release all this evidence of UFOs from the top and all the rest of it. It looks... have you been looking into that?
I gotta be honest, I haven't. I haven't looked in... I've just seen what's sort of come in my view. I haven't really gone looking for anything this year, to be honest with you, because I've had so much happen. And, I mean, the things we've had happen personally, I mean, we've done obviously research on different things. Like, this got relevance to the live streams we've done and some of the now debates we've talked about and stuff. But, no, I haven't really looked for stuff. We've had so much going on. We haven't do you know what I mean? We haven't
needed to.
We've had so much to think about. I mean, for people that's contacted us in regards to different things, irrelevance to our live streams. I mean, it's been mind-boggling this year. It feels like one of the longest years I've ever had. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't even. It doesn't feel like I can remember last New Year's Eve.
No.
Normally, it feels like this year's lasted 3.
Yeah.
It
does, doesn't it?
Yeah. It really does.
Well, we started out in... let's just look at, this year from our perspective then, right? And sort of see how it sort of ties into everything. We started out in January. I can't really remember what we did. This I think we sort of didn't really get... Well, we started up having... we did a case late December, early January, where we actually started picking up that field again.
Yeah.
The electromagnetic field that we've been picking up in different areas of South Wales. And there's going to be a video about that shortly because of what's happened. Originally, the messages that come through, because when we had the field, we did the ghost box at the same time. And we had this sort of message saying that there was a proposal for you and that they didn't want it released now, if that makes sense, this information. And we kind of like honoured that because we didn't actually know what we were dealing with or whatever. And we did a couple of cases, didn't we? And we actually opened the Paranormal Now channel because it was all done through my channel, the Spiritual Worlds Jared and Sam YouTube channel. And we decided no, Paranormal Now does need its own channel. It's because it was dividing the audience to the other channel. And we started to build. We've gone up to 370 subscribers now from March. So that's quite a good. And some of the videos have had over 4,500 views, 5,000 views. But you had, we had, like, it was a couple of months where we were looking at different locations. We did Landaf. We have did some work with some other third parties,
which is due
we're
to
not
come out.
really. Yeah, it's due to. We're not really sort of able to talk about it too much, but there is going to be a lot of stuff that's happened this year that is not out in the public domain yet because we've been working with other people, and I'm sure when they hit, I think it's going to give a sort of demonstration of how this paranormal sort of lifestyle or going down this road can truly have profound effects on us and on others around us. And it's not just us, but anyone that goes down this road. I was still doing my development group. I still am doing my development group. How that's lasted the year, I don't know. We looked into... I suppose we just did different locations up until around April time. We did the hospital in Llanapia.
Yes, we did, yeah.
It did get a mention in some It wasn't the I can't remember the guy's name now, but it was an American, quite a popular American podcast, and them actually saying the words Llanapia was hilarious, and some of the random stuff that has been going that had been going on. And we did the video in Landaf. We did some videos up in Castle Cork. and we started using the new apps.
On the Castle in Bridgend.
Yeah, well, we done that. Well, that was later on in the year, yeah. We started using the new apps, because we didn't really use any of the apps until this year.
No.
You know, we only really used the SB7, and up until sort of recently, up until, I think it's Paranormal Evidence Archives, pretty much episode sort of like 30, that you don't really, 25 I think is actually start using the Ghost Radio apps and the Portal apps. Yeah. We used all these different things, and the validation that we were getting on them was quite incredible. Like you have used the Ghost Radio and Portal quite a few times.
Yeah. Don't forget we did first No Investigations live in front of an audience. Yeah,
we done that this year as well.
We done that as well.
I was building up through the year, but so you get to about April time, and we start doing these live streams on YouTube in front of an audience. We thought we'd test the apps and see what happens with them. Could we get clear responses
from
Spirit? That was generally kind of what we were aiming for anyway. From Spirit, that we basically people could watch it, and that's turned into a different show. It's turned into Monday Messages, which is going to come back in the new year. But the live streams basically were giving us these responses, and we had about 4 or 5 hours of different things for the first one, and we had quite a lot of good feedback on that. There was quite a lot of people watching. We had about 60 people watching that on the first live stream, which for a new channel is good. You know, we're not sort of gonna put a beat around the bush with it. It is a growing channel, and we're grateful for every single subscriber, every single view, every single comment. You know, this is supposed to be a collaboratory process. You know, people's feedback, we do actually take it in. You know, take it into consideration. Except for the trolls, of course, where we laugh at them.
Yeah.
We've worked throughout the year and did 8 live streams over the internet, and as you said, our final one we did in Cwmbran, and there was about 30 people in that audience, and we had about 30 unique comments. So I think actually taking these live streams on the road in 2018 is definitely, I think it would be fools not to do it. So I think we'll be looking at a lot more events coming up from us next year, because we're going to be booking venues and doing exactly like we're doing the live streams, but in front of a live audience, because the interaction that we got was amazing. We had people actually talking to loved ones on there, like.
Yeah, it was a lot different to what we thought it was going to turn out like.
Yeah.
But the one thing about this year that has been more than anything, I think, is the message we've had from the beings through the No Investigations. I mean, that is something that's been the forefront of our lives for this year.
It's almost like taken over it.
Yeah, it is. It has taken over our lives a bit, and it's hard to put into words the things we've been told and the things they are saying to us. And how we feel about it, I suppose, isn't it?
Because you've got to keep a distance, in a sense. You have got to kind of keep a little bit of a distance from it, because you don't know 100% what is telling you this. We don't even know if it's some sort of scam. I don't know how the hell they would do it, because the most recent set of responses that we just put up on the channel now are using devices and in a location that has no internet connection whatsoever. It's very difficult. The only place we could get a radio connection was on the 4th floor.
And it actually uses our names. It says it calls us by name.
It calls us by name. Everyone that was present during a session, so it mentions Dale, Richard, Jared, Martin. I think it actually mentions Sean. Sean was there. I'm not sure if it mentions Sam, but it basically mentions several of. And it gives names of people connected to us. Like it gives, I'll give you a summary. Then this is what it basically said. This is the last videos on the channel. This is the Griffin Inn. So this is taken on the 30th of August, 2017, right? And you look at. I'm going to take there's some bits that are missing from the video because of the fact it's they are personal messages.
Well, I don't mind if you want to read mine out, yeah.
Right, okay. Divine, I see you, the people that you are. Our people know that it's been a pain, and we shall offer you this today, taken there for you. This is that it says that as the picture is taken, or the picture of the grey in the window that you would have seen on this channel if you've watched any of our prior videos of the Griffin and our documentary that we released earlier on this year, UFOs and the Bible Code, our first full hour length documentary. Hear me, I am here with you. So ask, and find your way. As you are those that love, how we act to you, trusting that they are through. We stay for you. You give us dignity, bless you. Being you must stay the same, and their pursuing will burn up. When you finally say, enough is enough. Priest, we are telling you, I pray to him, the source. The reptilians are spying. This time we are ready. Understand. Now this is sort of getting into some sort of real sort of David Icke kind of work here, which I suppose others have touched on, not just obviously Mr. Icke himself, but
yeah.
I think when it's saying you, I don't think it's actually talking to us individually. I think it's talking about the collective you, humanity, that sort of thing. Chime in if there's anything that grabs your attention and think we need to discuss. Don't play the game, fight for love. Millions will open. It's right for some, but when the signal's ready, the whole world will wake up from playing the game again. This awakening is happening to people now, almost at the speed of light. Until then, they will seem weird. Now I've noticed that people have been acting strangely, even friends, family members, just distant or feeling fidgety or just out of the ordinary. And have you noticed that this year?
Yeah, lots of people have just felt like they just don't know what to do with themselves, and they don't know where they fit, and they don't know where to place themselves, and they're just, I don't know. I think if people are looking, problem is when you look inwardly, right? It depends why you look inwardly. There needs to be some sort of substance and some sort of direction to look inside yourself.
Yeah.
Now, if essentially the awakening is making us look, because it's got to make us look inwardly before we can look outwardly.
Yes.
But the problem is, I think what's happening is people are looking inwardly, and they're seeing all the things they're not having, and they're not becoming, and they're not doing.
Yeah.
And it's coming out in a weird way, basically, as it describes. So people acting in a sort of like quite, I don't know, like not selfish, it's a horrible word, but they're becoming a bit more the self.
Yeah.
And that's how I think was the forefront of how they act. But basically, I think you've got to go through that process before you have a realization.
Yeah.
So I think people are going to act strangely, and they are going to be like a bit complacent and a bit lost, because it's a funny place when we really reflect on ourselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I have noticed it, but I think that's the reason why people are acting weird.
Well, they talk about when the signal goes out. Now, do they have some sort of like a awakening signal that's going to be like a big flashlight, or is it something? Are they talking something more traditional, like that, like something like a TV hijack or something? It makes you think of what are they talking about with a signal, right? Now, I'm going to bring another point up about this because it's going to be quite interesting. Where they've kind of put themselves in a bit of a position, really, with this, right? Or possibly even press. Maybe at the if they are not as what they seem, because we still don't know. Really. We've got ideas now, and we've got so much to work through and so much to go through. I think we're building a kind of relationship with them to a point, but still maintaining a decent distance then. Because, like, I suppose you've got to, haven't you?
Yeah.
But what do you mean? What do you reckon this signal is?
is it something extraterrestrial? Is it the signal, the wave, the consciousness that wakes us up? Is it that they're referring to? Is it the sign? Is some sort of sign? Because it's that the world is about to change. I mean, it happened to me a couple of months back when I saw that meteorite. I mean, that was just the fact that the now investigations, I was told about the meteorite.
Yes, you were.
As a sign. And, we see shooting stars and stuff like that, but this was a proper low orbit, mulling into Earth meteorite that burnt up in low atmosphere, and the odds of me seeing it and being in the place I was just unbelievable. And that's that sort of thing has sat with me a bit. The fact that they knew I was going to see that before I saw it.
I've noticed that a lot. There's a message in here, and I'm going to talk to you about this now in a minute. But there's a lot of that, and that's going to be reflected as we move forward now. It says, "Hear me. I am here with you. Ask, find you." I read that bit. So, don't play the game. Fight for love. Millions will open when the signal goes out. We seem weird. Right. Okay. I've actually found my place now. So by now you see, Rich. They are listening. They are listening. So by now you see Rich. So obviously they're referencing you by name there.
Yeah.
They are listening. Many of us. Finally, they thought they would stand up, and how she sees them all now. Now, there's no prior reference to she, so I don't really know what that means, right? You want us near. Do you guess who's near us? The seeker. They know how I feel. The live streams, this is not enough, or in error. I've summarised that and paraphrased that a little bit because it kind of says the same thing in a convoluted kind of way. It's nuts you all have it, as never being truly free is terrible, as you deserve it. So see through the challenge, and you may know this.
You forgot a little bit there, Jar.
What's that?
After it says in error.
In error. Oh, they are waking up to truth in love.
Yeah.
It's nuts you all have it. Never being truly free is terrible, as you deserve it. So see through the challenge. And in May, as in the month of May, that's what it's basically said, know this, that what we have will free the end of war. The last years, he is here, the sound will sound from heaven to see all. Now what the fuck does that mean?
I know it's profound, and I mean these are the messages that we've been receiving since we started the now investigations over 10 months ago.
Yeah.
They, like I said, that's just a smidge of what we received.
Yeah.
And they have pretty much been like that all the way through, haven't they?
Pretty much, yeah. This is the interesting thing.
I mean, they refer to themselves as the Council of 12.
Or Earth visitors.
Yeah, and they've said on this ship and this and that, right? Now, the weird thing is with this, which I don't know if I've talked about in any of the videos, is but when I was in the church and I was first learning to control my ability, I was tested by beings, and they said they were the Council of 12. And I never heard of a reference of them before that point.
Well, we didn't until earlier on this year. It was on in 5D actually.
Yeah.
That I found the first reference outside our own live streams.
Oh. And that happened to me, back, how long was it? When I was met? 2006,
2007.
Yeah, 2006, yeah. So this is why it sort of gives it's so bizarre, and I don't know, it's just it's a mind melt, and it's just it's such a thing to get our heads around. I mean, it has been such a thing. I mean, the things they've said, because we've done other means of communication that they've come through in.
Well, we did
the Ouija boards.
Ouija boards back in 2013 is the only time I have ever done and will ever do a Ouija board. I have been in the presence, and you'll see that in a future video, that I have actually been in the presence of a Ouija board being done.
Yeah.
But I won't touch it myself.
Yeah.
I just don't like the things. It's I don't have any dogma about it. I just don't like them. It's just a personal preference, basically.
I was the same. I'd never liked the things. The amount of times we've done cases over people have done them Ouija boards and done them wrong. And the communication we had through the catering reader, which we documented, I do believe.
It's Paranormal Evidence Archives episodes 10, 11 and 12.
Yeah.
Specifically episodes 11 and 12 are the ones that have that conversation in them. The Ouija board footage isn't out. We haven't released anything of that because it's primarily audio.
Yeah.
We didn't have any cameras at the time because it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's to say it's been an eventful year.
It's been crazy. And it's just this is the thing, right? It mentions in May. Now I made the observation in the documentary UFOs in the Bible Code. It mentions Acts 2, St. Michael's Tomb, Enter Your Own Enrichment Day. I've spent so much time with these responses. I say so much time, maybe a couple of days here and there, but for some reason they seem to just be embedded into my memory. I could just remember certain ones off the cuff, and it suggested it was basically picking up certain areas around France. That were also going along the St. Michael's ley line. They were running parallel to the St. Michael's ley line. That's basically the main ley line that goes up. I think it's like through Land's End. Is it? Yeah, Land's End to like Great Yarmouth. I think it's like around goes up into like the front base of the bottom of Land's End, and it goes up through to up to Norfolk area. And there's lots of like different landmarks and things with St. Michael, and this is specifically about St. Michael's tomb because it was all to do with the way the sun rises. And I believe, I can't remember off the top of my head now, I think it was like the 8th of May. That is the actual specific date that this was alluding to.
Yeah.
And I made that documentary was taken from the Now Investigation 6. So that sort of illusion, or that sort of those sort of imageries that were put from the responses that were give me that observation, and then obviously you get confirmation in this, which is an investigation took place 3 weeks later. Bear in mind, we have so much. I have over a terabyte of data, video, audio, different things that we've collated over the last 5 years. So what is actually on the channel is a very, very small bit of what we've actually got. And it's so not just communication, but it's cases and stuff for our own research and different things like that. Is over a terabyte of like field data. Then stuff has happened to us or around us where we've had to research, because everything that we research is in relation to something that's happened to us directly, because that's the best way to speak about it. And it points to next May. Now, what it's basically done, if you think about it this way, is if it's given us a specific date. So even if you just take the month of May, right, then something doesn't happen. It can kind of devalue the responses. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of gives us something to work with, because some people get these different dates through. Whether it's the alignment in astrology, or they get it through channeling, or they get it through whatever, right? They always say, these doom dates, the end is coming on the 12th of March 2020, and the day passes, nothing happens. Yeah? There's nothing really that marks that date. There's not many people that turned around in the 90s and went, 9/11, 2001, date to mark in your calendar, something horrific's going to happen. There's, these sort of doomsday predictions are often wrong. So I don't think it's a doomsday prediction. I think it's something that is either energetic, it may be something astrological, it could be something physical. Which, if it is physical, then it does add, some sort of validation to what we've been getting, which opens up a plethora of all these other questions of how the fuck did they know, what's actually going on here. But you kind of got to be objective about it. This is why I kind of keep a a sort of objective, try and keep an objective viewpoint on it, because what is being said, you don't really know what's saying it. Any spirit could basically sort of, pick something out of my head or stay along with me for a couple of days enough to gather enough information about Jonathan and say, hey, I'm Jonathan. Do you know what I mean? But there's only certain ways that this is why I think when Jonathan has come through, he's been very careful about how he acts. He acts like Jonathan. And I suppose it's only through the accumulation of validation that you can do it. And on the first Griffin video, there's a line that he says that I haven't actually included in these responses because it's personal to me. But it's only one person that would know why that line is in there, and that person is me, because it's a response to a specific question. I asked him that question, and I asked him to respond in such a way that would validate to me that was him. Because it doesn't matter whether what people believe or what people hear, whether they hear differently. I think it's not a question of we are getting this, we believe it's this, so you must believe it also. It's a question of like, everyone will think differently. If you're skeptical about the paranormal, you will have different thought processes. You'll think of things in a different way to how we will think of things. And adding that sort of into a conversation, you'd be surprised at what we can accomplish. So that's why it's always kind of an open book, I suppose, when we're developing videos. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be physical in May, or do you think it's going to be...
I don't know, I've seen a lot of stuff on 2018 and in just general, right? And it just feels like there is something profound happening in 2018. Whether it be me, I'm not sure, right? But it just feels like it's leading to this year. Well, next year. Sorry.
But it is this year. It's going to be this year in the next hour or two.
Yeah. It's. I don't know. I just don't know. To be honest with you, I'm finding it hard to call it. I mean.
Well, this is the interesting thing.
I mean, the sounds from heaven, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as we've talked about this on Now Debates, about the trumpets, and you've mentioned the trumpets.
Yes, they have.
So, I think it's going to be a physical sign. I'm going to throw it out there and say it's a genuine, no holds barred, physical sign.
Yeah.
Of, I don't know what, but it's going to be something physical. More than sort of like, I think. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, right? Any free thinking people in this world, right, has access to any sort of like internet or, social media, should know that the world is a pretty shitty place, right? In general. Yeah. I'm not talking about, because we see miracles and we see joy and it is love and it is happiness, but as a whole, it's pretty messed up. Yeah. If you're looking at, just the only way you can know what I'm talking about is to imagine looking at it from an outside source.
Yeah.
Right, of the structure of the way we treat each other and the way the world treats people.
Yeah.
The people that lead us, it's just incredible.
And everyone thinks it's a new thing, and we tend to forget, 100 years ago, I was on this conversation today, 100 years ago, if you were a woman, you had no rights.
Yeah.
If you were, 50 to 100 years before that, you could buy a black man. And you had, it was brought, if you were poor, if you didn't have money and your baby died, as far as like the class system, the upper classes would think, they didn't have feelings. How we viewed each other. People ask me about there being an awakening, right? Well, I think that is clearly demonstrated in the last 100 years, where, our technology and everything, you can kind of, certain things been orchestrated, but humanity has opened up. I would hate to live 100 years ago. Or 200 years ago.
I don't know. I think we've gone backwards.
Well, we don't know exactly. We're not trading in foreigners, or we're not doing anything ridiculous like that, are we?
Sex slavery and women's slavery is bigger than it's ever been in the history of mankind. right, for a start, right? You have the dark web, which has a plethora of snuff videos, right? I mean, this stuff isn't make-believe. If we ever see anything on the dark web, there is actually organisations out there where you can pay them and they will kill someone while you watch live, right? It's not a joke. It's not make-believe. It's not bullshit. It's not somebody fucking just making it up so they can get a YouTube channel. It's real, right? It's out there, right? I mean, you've got people taking stuff like flakka and they're killing each other. You look at the police, the American police force out there, the things they are doing, right? And it's all being captured now because everybody's got a video camera in their hand. Are so dark, right, and so beyond words. You've got leaders that just are being really, really profoundly in your face with the shit they do, right, which is mind-numbing, right? They're not even hiding it now, right? They just getting away with it, right? So that's just like three, four examples. And these paedophile rings are not even coming to the surface, right? Because the people who's investigating them are either being bought off or they just ended up dead.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I don't know. I think we're going backwards. It feels like...
Yeah, when you put it that way,
yeah.
I was thinking of just the mentality of the average person.
The average person is moving on.
Yes.
Because we're starting to ask questions.
Yes,
right?
This is where the question is.
But the problem is we're asking questions like we're asking ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're asking our friends. We're not asking globally.
Exactly.
If we were asking, like we've talked about things, crazy stuff, right? We've had debates about all sorts of me. If that was a global thing, things would change.
Yeah.
Things would have to change. But it's just like the media, how dark and twisted the media's become, and how just the lies that pour out of it. I mean, it honestly, but I think inside us all, we all want it. We all want the world to change. We all just feel powerless to make it change. Right.
I think even some of the ones mixed up in this knee-deep on this change.
I mean, there's got to be a point, right, where you face death, right, where these people that's the world they live in, right?
Yeah.
Except for obviously the hierarchy, like the politicians and the governments and stuff, they're pretty safe, right, in their ivory towers. But the rest of the people are sort of give them their power, sort of directly or indirectly, sort of like, you know, the slaves, the trade, the paedophile rings, the drugs and everything else.
Yeah.
The organised crime, should we say? I think there's a lot of them that want change. They want out of our world. Obviously, the victims, 100%, right? And that's a big margin of our world is the victim.
Yeah.
But I think there is. But when you get higher up, I think they are literally. I think their darkness is paradise.
Yeah.
That sounds quite unbelievable, I know. But
maybe the concept of subspace.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the concept of subspace? Because that's what it's kind of like, isn't it? When you look at this, it's the concept if you need balance, right?
Yeah.
And if you have everything's all good, you can be euphoric, and it basically it takes you to a place of euphoria, and you can be sort of but darkness also takes you to a place of euphoria.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're getting anything their heart desires, right, at that level, right? They can take it. They don't have to ask for it, right? But it is a false power.
Yeah.
Right. It's a false power.
But you look at the concept of it's a BDSM concept actually, right? Where if someone puts themselves under that much sort of pain and mixing with that much pleasure, they actually reach a space of euphoria because your body literally can't choose between the two. Yeah. So it always will choose the euphoria. Yeah. Which is why people get addicted to these sort of acts and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like a sliding sort of it shows that at the end of this sort of scale, there's two different types of like extremes of this euphoria.
Yeah.
None of which are good for you.
No. But they at the top, I think they're so above things.
Yeah.
Right. It's like religion is more important than law.
Yeah.
Right. Has more of a precedent over law. When if it was the other way round, how things would change.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just the mentality of it all. The higher up you go, it's mind-boggling in this world. I mean, when I was younger, and the world was a lot different when I was a kid, right? I had this sense of the world being like this, and it does feel like, to me, it has perpetually got worse.
Yeah, definitely.
And my faith and my heart tells me that this message, that whatever it is coming in me, is going to be the sign on the biblical sense, in the prophecy sense, in the spiritual sense, world changing sense, that it is going to be something that hopefully gives everyone the courage to say, yeah, that's the world we want.
Well, there's an interesting thing it says in there. It says about guess who's with us. Now, I didn't know if it said the seeker or the seer, but the seer, it's kind of obscure, so I don't know much about it. Do you know anything about the Nostradamus prophecy of the seers? They come before the great change.
Yeah.
What is that? Because I honestly think that's what it's. I put seeker because I thought it meant,
Yeah.
I couldn't understand. I didn't know about the reference, right? And this is another thing that's happening. It's like I was like, oh, it must be seeker. The seer. That doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. We are seers.
Right. So why do they say guess who's with us? The seers. Does that mean that other people are seeing them as well, or?
Yeah.
So what's the Nostradamus prophecy on the seers then? Because you could probably they have referred to us before as seekers as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we are seekers because we're seekers of the truth. We're seekers of knowledge, but we are seers as well because we see the world differently, and we see spirit, and we see in this message.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's sort of basically, it's sort of like, it's like, it is basically what it is, right? With the seers, and it's the people that sort of like bring the message forward and get it out there.
So essentially what Nostradamus might have seen then is, that's not me and you in particular,
but us.
That sort of type of people, or that sort of, clan of people, or
the psychics and the seers of the world, and the spiritual people, and but you can't say spiritual, just the people who want the world to be better.
Yeah.
Right? Free from, all things, because that's what's needed.
Yeah, free from tyranny.
Yeah.
It is you 51s. Now I don't know what the 51s is reference to. A truly are known far, we chant you no more. It's quite interesting, right? So if I read this sentence, this is from like earlier on in the night now, right? This is from the last thing it says on the portal, right? But actually it's not. It says, it's something it says about, what does it say? It says something about be ready before the monster comes, right? Which is weird, it says before the monster comes. That's on our, I didn't transcribe that bit, but that's one of the things it says. There's a message from Jonathan. He says, he says about the family, misses the family, and my love to all, that kind of thing. And it says, now plant the seeds before the monster comes. So I don't understand what it means by monster. But what is quite interesting is just before I go on to this, May is obviously when the end of that sign that happened in September, the retrograde of Jupiter. That's basically that actually ends on the 8th of May as well, or around about that time as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So there are other signs sort of pointing to May.
The actual arrival.
And it has mentioned about asteroids before. There's one bit in the Griffin, I know specifically it says asteroid, but some parts of that are so obscured, I think because there was I don't know what was happening, but there was part of that was really obscure. But what's quite interesting is it has mentioned stuff about asteroids and meteorites before, and this is coming very much into the mainstream with that cigar-shaped asteroid that's basically come into our solar system, behaved like no other space body we've ever observed before, and they're actually finding them. Kepler found 2 next to Orion's next to the Orion Nebula. Now, what have we been told about Orions? So this asteroid, and they have had people on CNN.
Yeah.
They have had
Stephen Hawking was mentioned.
Yeah, the only thing they've said, or what they've said, is they can't rule out the fact that it's actually a spacecraft. So they've all but said basically that it could possibly be extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
But this is where it says, it's you 51s that truly are known far, we chant you no more. This knowing self works all the time, which is what you've been saying about awakening, is like you get to know yourself first before you can understand the bigger questions. Now with both these thinking and questioning starts the war. When you question everything around you and you're seeing the world as different, it is a conflict, it is a war, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're not talking about, invading a country or nation against, they're talking about in a conflict, in a struggle. Because, what's that saying? Be the change you want to see in the world. Those who give out good will receive it, you will see. They chose to simply predict the new design. So though they did it with light, they lived it responding to their love of all things. Now this is suggesting something quite interesting. Dolores Cannon, we've mentioned Dolores before because a lot of her work kind of bears resemblance, or at least has an iota anywhere near what we are getting. But they say about this. What that seems to be suggesting there is there's certain people. She talks about the 3 waves of volunteers. There's certain people who seem to have created this reality, or have been here in order for this reality to. If this shift is going to happen, there are people that will come first and that will sort of shape it with their thoughts or whatnot. Is there any credence to that, do you think? Or
I think they shape it with their actions.
Yeah, well, your thoughts create your actions, don't they?
I think all these things they speak of are like there's right, you look at Charlie Chaplin's speech, right, and there's been some of the most amazing and unbelievable things said, but it's actions. I think we just literally start to do the things we think we should do.
Yeah.
And we start to act. Hopefully we start to act in the way we want to act.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's things, it's like treat others as you want to be treated. Right? Simple quote from the Bible. Right? It is the most simple and meaningful and profound quote. Einstein said, a life best lived is a life lived for others. Right? Now you gotta really, that's a really deep, because I'm trying to put it into words, but you've got to really think about what that means.
Yeah, because if you think about it, people would say you live a life of service, just giving to others, but it's not quite what it means.
No.
Because if you think about it, because I just had that sort of crawl in my head, you can't always be there for others, you have to be there for yourself.
Well, that's the thing, if you're always there for others, someone is always there for you.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And it's getting your head into something that's so simple. The world can change with the simplest of ideals. And that's the thing, since I've been little, that's always just sat so deeply in my mind, like that with one simple action. Right, if you wanted to move a mountain, right? Say if I wanted to move the Ricos Mountain, it would take me 10 lifetimes, right? If all the people in the world helped me, take a day.
Yeah.
Right? Now that's that's a conscious. If consciously is the same thing. Do you know what I mean? To change the world, I'd have to speak to everybody in the world. But if everybody in the world spoke at the same time, the world would change in a second.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like that's what it's trying to say. But obviously, I still believe it has to start. It says the 51st, right?
Yeah.
But I still see it starting with one person, and I find it really difficult to get my head around. That's not the case. I really do.
Well, I'll continue reading, and perhaps we'll find out more. You will admit you will see more of your story in days. You have too been thinking they souvenired that beneath the hidden. It's a baffling professory, and it could bring light, detected new ways to impress the teacher. You know, that's basically talking about the way that we learn. We don't learn, we program. You know, you think about this, right? You know, you basically learn a curriculum, or you learn how to do a certain task a certain way. And rather than finding your own way of doing it, we always try and teach a set methodology, which essentially creates, you know, someone who doesn't really learn anything new. They just sort of learn how to act or how to be programmed, I guess. If we actually, rather than copied others, we actually found our own way. So do that instead of copy. And there's that name again, Anu. We're going to have to ask about that in a future live stream. And Anu will be out of here, and they might key him into understanding that this light of ours, it might not help until the light collects the people that feel the emotions of Anu. Do you think it's better that way? They're actually asking us a question. This just opens up fear of not knowing. This might not have travelled into the light. Do you think it's best? I can ask you to face your fear at the full moon. There've been times that everything you see, what do you think of it? It seems nuts. By the date. Now, there's a bit that goes before that, so I'm going to read that properly, which was it was directed at you, which basically says, and Richard, think about it. Even the false ones are suspicious of the game in the end. Look at that. There was light, urgent. So if they're doubting their actions, if certain people are doubting that there's light there, it's basically the old sort of Darth Vader story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Urgent need of one's own time to have faith within yourself. Now comes destiny. Bloody hell, dude. Doubt anyone without heart. They will not rise. Be upfront. It's the missing part. He does love you. Because it mentions, so it mentions, I'm not going to go too far into this, but it goes on to me, and it says, this child is fine. The first change is about to hit the earth. It's not too late to be brave. Stand firm. This war-torn place, it warped us. Those who are here in it, under the God, listening. Right enough. Think about it. Write it down. What have you left precisely? Which is literally what I've been doing. I've been writing everything down and sort of, you know, trying to sort of put it into some sort of order. Now this is where it gets quite crazy, because I heard one of the responses had a voice going over it, the top of it, and normally that means there's a reverse response. And I did have, you couldn't hear it, Dale couldn't hear it, and it was very interesting because when I had Dale listen to it, he said, well, you know, you can listen to anything in reverse, and we tried this, and this will be an experiment we'll try later on. If we put like an episode of, I think we used an episode of Arrow, the TV show, and we see if we could get messages for listening to it in reverse. It wasn't as cohesive as the message I listened to, but you didn't hear anything at all.
Yeah.
And it was quite funny how there's a message there for Dale that comes through, and Dale being one of our sort of younger investigators, my nephew and Jonathan's son. Dale, we hid all that, it must be found quietly. Now that doesn't make any sense at all to Dale, unless you're referencing a conversation that I had 4 months later after this night had happened. So, like, there's one with Hugh, who's our cameraman, and I was doing an investigation from a while back. I was doing one of the earlier now investigations, like now investigations 5, and it randomly just like stops what I was on about. It goes, oh, and something about Hugh.
Yeah.
And I said, why did it say that? And I checked my first Facebook messages, and I've like the first message I had from Hugh in about 4 months.
Yeah.
As if like,
yeah,
it's kind of a mind boggle there. We're reading like sort of, you know, I'm breezing through these very, very quickly. But when it says about us being warped, about the first sign to hit the Earth very soon, you know, it's giving us now actual events that may happen. And I suppose, you know, as we're going into 2018, I do want to sort of start to round this off now, but as we're going into 2018, we've actually got tangible things now that we can actually look at and say, well, did that actually come true? You know, we're going to do that anyway in a couple of weeks' time. We'll look at our psychic predictions for 2017 and see how wrong we probably were, or right we probably were.
Because we had a few of them, didn't we?
I think we did. I think you predicted the Vegas shootings.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. It's very, very, very strange. And as I said, what I've just read out there, a lot of that is summed up. I've breezed over it very quickly, guys, but you can check out the last video in the Griffin series, part 4.
How long have we been recording for, Jack?
We have now been recording for just close to an hour.
Oh, I thought it was longer. Didn't you feel it longer?
It feels like it's been going for hours.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe make it a 2-parter, but no.
No,
we got it all in one.
We got it all in one.
We're getting dab hand at this now.
So, 2018, we've got some predictions that there's going to be something in May. It's going to be something quite profound. Is there something going to happen? We don't know, but this is what's big. And it's going to be something in relation to the awakening. And,
well, let's hope,
eh?
Let's just hope, innit?
Let's hope it doesn't wipe us all out, but...
Well...
I don't think it will. I don't think it's a doomsday prophecy.
No, I don't think we'll be right.
Aye.
It does.
We'll be alright.
We'll get to start again.
Aye.
So...
Yeah. Well, guys, Happy New Year to you.
Yeah. Have a Happy New Year, guys.
And we will be seeing you in 2018. And we will be doing... When we're doing the next live stream, we're going to probably do it around about February time, won't we?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we're going to come back. We're going to give a bit of time now, and we're going to, from about March time, we're going to start hitting the road. What we're going to do, like 20 weeks or something, and just do it once a week.
Yeah, we'll sort it out. We'll let everybody know what we're doing.
Yeah, facebook.com/paranormal now, youtube.com/c/paranormal now. Paranormalnow.co.uk is our stuff. What do you think? Have you had anything about May of next year? Do you have any predictions for next year? Do you think this is all the cobblers? Please let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
And we will. There's so many other things we could have touched on, but I think this is a good time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
It is.
Should we leave it on a Jerry Springer final thought, or?
Go on then. You give us the final thought.
Well, look, we talked about some stuff that seems a bit neg and a bit dark and a bit, why the world is not a good place. But there is light. There is hope. We have faith, and the world is amazing and beautiful at the same time. So, just remember, guys. I mean, we can't ignore things forever. Right? We can't. Hoping they'll just go away. It's not the case. It doesn't happen with ourselves. It doesn't happen in our own little circles. If you ignore things, they get bigger and bigger. But the truth will set us free, and love will lead the way. And we live in that. We live in hope for that as well.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.